What if I told you that every piece of knowledge that has ever existed, every discovery, every event, every thought is stored in a vast cosmic library that you can access, a repository of wisdom so profound that history's greatest mystery schools dedicated their entire existence to guarding the methods of entering it? This is not fiction. This is not metaphor. This is the reality that has been hidden from humanity for thousands of years. Welcome to our channel. I'm the guide, and today I am about to reveal what might be the most closely guarded secret of the ancient mystery schools, the method of accessing what they call the cosmic archives, what some traditions name the Akashic Records, and what modern consciousness researchers are only beginning to recognize as the non-local field of universal information. For millennia, elite initiated in temples from Egypt to Tibet, from Greece to Peru, underwent decades of rigorous preparation before being taught the techniques to consciously enter this dimension of pure knowledge. The ability to access the cosmic archives was considered the ultimate attainment, more valuable than gold, more powerful than any earthly authority. Why? Because when you can directly access the complete record of existence, you transcend the limitations of individual knowledge. You move beyond belief into direct knowing. You see beyond the illusions that have kept humanity trapped in cycles of suffering and limitation. But before we continue, I must warn you, what I'm about to share will fundamentally challenge your understanding of reality. Once you comprehend the true nature of the cosmic archives and begin implementing the techniques to access them, your perception of what's possible will never be the same. The mystery schools didn't guard this knowledge because it was false. They guarded it because it was too powerful for those who weren't prepared to use it responsibly. Today, I believe humanity has reached a critical point in its evolution, a time when this knowledge must be restored to those who seek it with sincere hearts and clear intentions. If you're ready for this revelation, stay with me. The journey into the cosmic archives begins now. The concept of a universal repository of knowledge appears across diverse cultures separated by vast distances and time, a convergence that itself suggests they were all describing something real, something they had experienced directly. In ancient Egypt, it was called Medu Netta, or the words of God, a vibrational field containing all knowledge, past, present, and potential futures. The high priests of Heliopolis were trained specifically in techniques to enter trance state, where they could perceive and interpret this cosmic library. Hieroglyphs found in the inner sanctum of the Temple of Horus at Edfu actually depict the stages of consciousness required to access what they call the Hall of Records, a place not of physical scrolls and tablets, but of pure living knowledge. In India, the ancient Rishi spoke of the Akashic Records, Akasha meaning the primordial substance that pervades all space. The Vedas describe methods of accessing this field through specific states of consciousness, achieved through meditation and breathing. The Greek mystery schools, particularly the Eleusinian mysteries and the Orphic tradition, taught advanced initiates how to achieve what they called epoptia, direct vision beyond physical limitations, accessing what they described as the memory of Zeus that contained all knowledge. But here's what's fascinating and deeply revealing. Around 400 CE, as Christianity became the dominant religious force in the Western world, explicit references to these practices began disappearing from public teachings. The techniques, once taught to worthy initiates, were systematically obscured or confined to secret societies like the Hermetic order, the Rosicrucians, and later, certain branches of Esoteric Freemasonry. Why? Because access to direct knowing threatens systems of belief that require intermediaries between individuals and ultimate truth. Consider the implications. If anyone with the right training could access complete knowledge directly, what would happen to those whose power depended on controlling what others believe? The gatekeepers of information would become obsolete. What's remarkable is that despite this systematic suppression, the core knowledge was preserved hidden in plain sight through symbolism, encoded in architecture, concealed in alchemical texts, and passed down through unbroken lineages of teachers who recognized worthy students. The Egyptian mysteries migrated into Hermeticism and the Western esoteric tradition. The Indian techniques survived through select yogic lineage. The Greek wisdom was preserved by the Neoplatonists, all describing the same fundamental reality. Consciousness can access a field of information that transcends the limitations of individual perception and conventional speech. And today, we're reconnecting these fragments, restoring this birthright to anyone with a sincere desire to access it. Because make no mistake, the ability to enter the cosmic archives isn't a supernatural power granted to a special few. It's a natural capacity of human consciousness that's been deliberately forgotten, a sense that's atrophied from lack of use. And like any senses, with the right understanding and practice, it can be reawakened. Is there any scientific basis for the cosmic archives? Or is this purely mystical speculation? The answer might surprise you. In recent decades, cutting-edge scientific research has begun to validate what the mystery schools knew intuitively. Information exists non-locally in the fabric of reality itself, and consciousness can access it through specific states. Let's start with quantum physics. The discovery of quantum non-locality, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance, has demonstrated that particles once connected remain informationally linked across any distance, instantly sharing states of being. This suggests that information isn't bound by conventional space-time limitations. Physicist David Bohm proposed what he called the implicate order, a deeper level of reality, where all information exists in a state of unity before manifesting in the explicate order we perceive as separate objects and events. Even more compelling is the research in the field of consciousness studies. Dr. Ervin Laszlo, twice nominated for the Nobel Prize, has proposed the existence of what he calls the Akashic field of fundamental information field that records everything that has ever happened, is happening, or potentially could happen. Neurosurgeon Dr. Eben Alexander, who spent his career at Harvard Medical School, documented his own journey into what he can only describe as a vast repository of knowledge during a profound near-death experience, describing it as more real than this physical reality and containing information he could not possibly have accessed through his physical brain. The Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research Laboratory spent decades documenting how human consciousness can perceive information beyond the constraints of time and space, results that defy conventional explanations, but align perfectly with ancient descriptions of the cosmic archives. What is emerging is a new scientific paradigm that bridges ancient wisdom and cutting-edge research, one that recognizes consciousness is fundamental to reality rather than an hypothesis. In this model, the brain functions less as a producer of consciousness and more as a receiver or a filter, tuning into specific frequencies of a vast field of information that exists independent of our individual minds. You've likely experienced glimpses of this access without recognizing their significance. Moments of profound intuition where you knew something you had no way of knowing. Dreams that revealed information later confirmed to be true. Flashes of insight that solved problems through information that seemed to arrive from nowhere. These aren't anomalies or coincidences. They're moments when your consciousness briefly tuned into the cosmic archive, the universal field of information that the mystery schools spent millennia learning to access deliberately rather than accidentally. What they discovered and what I'm about to share with you are the specific methods for making this access reliable, clear, and applicable to your daily life. The mystery school teachings describe the cosmic archives not as a single homogeneous field, but as a structured repository organized in distinct vibrational layers. Each layer contains different types of information and requires specific states of consciousness to access. Understanding this structure is essential for navigating the archives effectively. Today, I'll reveal the 7 levels as described in the hidden teachings and the type of information available in each. The most accessible layer contains the complete record of your individual existence, not just your current lifetime, but the entire journey of your soul across all incarnations and dimensions of experience. Here, you can access memories long forgotten by your conscious mind, talents and abilities developed in other lifetimes, the original causes of current challenges and relationships, the agreements and purposes you established before entering this incarnation. Many people spontaneously access fragments of this level during deep meditation, hypnotic regression, or momentary flashes of déjà vu. But with proper technique, you can deliberately explore this level with clarity and purpose. Beyond your personal records lies the vast library of all human experience, the complete history of our species, including events never recorded in conventional history books, ancient civilizations lost to time, technologies developed and then forgotten, wisdom traditions that left no physical trace, the true motivations behind historical events rather than the official narratives. This level reveals humanity's actual journey, both its profound achievements and its tragic failures, unfiltered by political agendas or the limitations of physical evidence. The 3rd level contains the consciousness of Earth itself, what some traditions call Gaia or the anima. Here you can access information about Earth's complete history, its energetic systems, and its relationship with humanity and other life forms. The planet's own intelligence, rhythms, and evolutionary purpose become directly perceptible. This level also contains what anthropologist Carlos Castaneda called the active side of infinity, the living essence of all plants, animals, minerals, and elemental forces, accessible as direct knowing rather than symbolic understanding. As we move deeper, we encounter the field that contains all information about our solar system, the interrelationships between planets, the sun's consciousness, and the energetic currents that flow between these celestial bodies. The ancient mystery schools understood something modern science is only beginning to rediscover. Celestial bodies are not merely physical objects but conscious entities that communicate and interact through subtle energy fields. This level reveals why astrology was considered a sacred science in all ancient cultures. It's not about distant balls of gas arbitrarily affecting human psychology, but about conscious relationships between interconnected aspects of a living cosmic system. The 5th level expands to encompass our entire galaxy, its structure, history, and the myriad forms of consciousness that inhabit its billions of star systems. Here the mystery school initiates would encounter what they called the elder intelligences, forms of consciousness, so vastly different from human experience that they can only be perceived as geometric patterns, frequencies, or what modern contactees might describe as light language. This level contains information about civilizations that have evolved along completely different trajectories than Earth humanity, technologies based on principles we haven't yet discovered, and perspectives that transcend our species' current developmental stage. At this profound depth, individual entities and events give way to the fundamental principles, govern existence itself, the mathematical and energetic laws that structure all reality. The mystery schools taught that this level contains what they called the divine architecture, the underlying patterns that generate all matter, energy, space, and time, the platonic solids, the flower of life, the golden ratio, and other sacred geometric forms are physical representations of these principles. By accessing this level, the ancient initiates could understand not just what is, but why it is and how it functions at its most fundamental level. The deepest layer transcends all differentiation, containing what can only be described as the unified field of pure potentiality from which all existence continuously emanates. This is what various traditions have called God, Brahman, the Absolute, or the Great Mystery, not as a concept or belief, but as a directly experienced reality. Here, information is not separate from consciousness itself. Knowing and being become unified. The mystery schools considered access to this level the ultimate initiation, what the Egyptians called becoming Osiris, the Greeks named Theosis, and the Vedic tradition termed Sama. These 7 levels are not strictly separated but exist as a continuum of increasingly subtle vibration. As your practice deepens, you'll discover that you can move between them with greater ease and clarity, accessing precisely the information most relevant to your current purpose. The ancient teachings emphasize that each level requires both different techniques and different qualities of being to access effectively. Let's explore these methods now. The mystery schools developed specific protocols for accessing the cosmic archives, techniques refined over thousands of years of direct experience. These were arbitrary rituals but precise methods designed to align human consciousness with the vibrational frequencies of the archives. Today I'll share what the hidden texts call the 5 keys of access, the essential practices that open the gateways to universal knowledge. The first key, vibrational alignment. The fundamental principle underlying all methods of accessing the cosmic archives is vibrational resonance. Like tuning a radio to receive specific frequencies, your consciousness must align with the vibration of the information you seek. This alignment begins with purifications of both physical and energetic. The mystery schools prescribed specific dietary practices, fasting protocols, and energy clearing techniques to prepare initiates for accessing the archives. The simplest yet most powerful method they taught was what the Hermetic texts call the breath of light, specific breathing pattern that raises your energetic frequency to the threshold required for archive access. Practice this with me now. Inhale slowly for a count of 4, visualizing golden light entering through the crown of your head. Hold for a count of 7, allowing this light to saturate your entire body. Exhale for a count of 8, releasing any density, any lower vibration that doesn't serve your highest purpose. Continue this pattern for at least 7 cycles before attempting any archive access practice. This creates what the ancients called the vibrational gateway, the minimum frequency required to perceive non-physical information. The second key, the eye of inner vision. The physical eyes perceive the material world, but accessing the cosmic archives requires activating what esoteric traditions call the third eye, or the eye of Horus, the inner faculty of non-physical perception. Modern neuroscience identifies this as the pineal gland, which contains water crystals capable of responding to electromagnetic frequencies beyond the visible spectrum. The mystery schools develop specific techniques to decalcify and activate this subtle organ. The core practice is called the triangle of revelation. Place your attention at the point between your eyebrows. Visualize a brilliant indigo flame at this location. From this flame, draw an energetic line upward to the crown of your head. From the crown, draw another line down to your right temple. From the right temple, draw a line to your left temple. Complete the triangle by connecting back to the point between your eyebrows. As you trace this triangle 3 times clockwise, repeat the sacred syllable OEM, allowing the vibration to resonate throughout your head cavity. This activation sequence prepares your inner vision to perceive the subtle information contained in the archives. The third key, the chamber of silence. Perhaps the most critical key, and the one most challenging in our modern world, is achieving the profound inner silence necessary to receive clear impressions from the archives. The mystery school initiates spent years mastering the art of completely stilling the mind, not just reducing thoughts but transcending the thinking process entirely. They understood that the chattering mind creates static that obscures the subtle frequencies of the archives. Their most powerful technique for achieving this state was what the Pythagoreans called the void practice. Sit in a comfortable, aligned position. Close your eyes and begin by simply observing your thoughts without engagement. As thoughts arise, neither resist nor follow them, simply notice their presence. Gradually shift your attention from the thoughts themselves to the spaces between thoughts. These spaces, these moments of no thought, contain what the ancients called the pregnant void, the access point to higher knowledge. With consistent practice, these moments of silence expand until you can maintain complete inner stillness for extended periods, the prerequisite for clear reception from the archives. The fourth key, the sacred question. The cosmic archives contain infinite information. Without a properly formulated question or intention, the experience can be overwhelming or confusing. The mystery schools taught specific protocols for crafting questions that would yield clear, relevant responses. The technique they called the crystalline query involves a three-part structure. First, purify your intention and ensure you're seeking this knowledge for purposes aligned with greater good, not ego gratification or manipulation of others. Second, distill your question to its absolute essence. Remove all unnecessary elements until you have the clearest formulation possible. Third, energize the question by stating it aloud 3 times while holding your hands in a specific mudra, thumb and index finger touching, forming a circle with the remaining fingers extended. This creates what the ancients called a vessel of reception, clearly defined energetic container for the information you seek. The fifth key, the anchored return. Perhaps the most overlooked aspect of archive access is the protocol for returning with the information intact. Many spontaneous experiences of higher knowledge fade quickly because this key is missing. The mystery schools taught a specific sequence called the bridge of memory to solidify the connection between expanded awareness and ordinary consciousness. Before ending your session, create a clear mental snapshot of the most important information received. Associate this snapshot with a simple physical gesture, perhaps touching thumb to finger or placing your hand over your heart. As you transition back to normal awareness, perform this gesture while silently affirming, "This knowledge is now part of my conscious understanding." Immediately after returning, speak the essence of what you received aloud, even if only to yourself. As soon as possible, record your experiences in written form, using drawings or symbols for concepts that transcend ordinary language. This 5-step process creates neural pathways that bridge expanded and ordinary states of consciousness, allowing the information to remain accessible rather than fading as so many transcendent experiences do. These 5 keys: vibrational alignment, the eye of inner vision, the chamber of silence, the sacred question, and the anchored return form the essential protocol for accessing the cosmic archives. When practiced in sequence, they create what the mystery schools called the royal path of knowledge, direct access to universal information without intermediaries or distortion. Now I'll share with you a complete step-by-step protocol that integrates all 5 keys into a unified practice sequence. This is the modern synthesis of the mystery school teachings adapted for contemporary practitioners while preserving the essential elements that make it effective. I call this the 7-circuit path to the archives, a complete method that you can begin implementing today. Circuit 1. Preparation. Archive access begins long before you sit down for the formal practice. How you live throughout your day creates the foundation for successful connection. Implement these daily practices. First, maintain heightened awareness of your thoughts and emotions, recognizing that these create your vibrational signature. Negativity, fear, and judgment lower your frequency below the threshold required for archive access. Second, practice what the Hermetics called intentional reception several times throughout your day to sense the information already flowing to you from higher sources. This creates a habit of attunement. Third, purifying your physical vessel through conscious hydration, natural foods, and reduced exposure to electromagnetic pollution and artificial stimuli. The mystery schools understood that subtle perception requires a clear, balanced nervous system. Circuit to sacred space. Creation. The environment you create for archive access dramatically impacts your results. The ancient temples were designed specifically to facilitate heightened states of consciousness through precise energetic conditions. Create your own temple space with these elements. Choose a location that feels energetically clean and can be dedicated solely to this practice. Purifying this space with sound, smoke, and intention. Arrange simple objects of focus, perhaps a candle, a crystal, or geometric form to serve as anchors for consciousness during expanded states. Eliminate all potential interruptions, phones, notifications, and any devices that emit electromagnetic interference. Circuit 3. Body preparation. The physical body must be prepared as a clear conduit for expanded awareness. The mystery schools developed specific practices to align the body's energy centers and nervous system for higher perception. Begin with this sequence. Sit in a comfortable position with your spine naturally aligned, either cross-legged on the floor with appropriate support, or in a chair with both feet flat on the ground. Place your hands on your knees, palms facing upward in the receptive position. Perform the breath of light practice we explored earlier. 4-count inhale, 7-count hold, 8-count exhale for at least 7 complete cycles. Next, activate each energy center sequentially from root to crown using the ancient vowel sounds. Sacral O, solar plexus, O, heart, Ah, third eye, AYE. Each sound should be intoned for a full exhale, while visualizing the corresponding energy center activating with light. Circuit 4. Mind preparation. With the body prepared, attention turns to the minder interface between your individual consciousness and the universal field of the archives. Enter the chamber of silence using this progressive sequence. Begin by observing your breath without attempting to control it. As your awareness settles, expand your attention to include the subtle sounds in your environment. From there, shift to awareness of the body's sensations, noting them without judgment. Next, observe thoughts as they arise, seeing them as passing clouds rather than engaging with their content. Finally, rest in the spaces between thoughts, gradually expanding these moments of pure awareness. Continue this process until you feel a distinctive shift in consciousness, often experienced as a subtle expansion, deepening, or floating sensation. This is what the mystery schools called the threshold state, the gateway to an unordinary perception. Circuit 5. Archive connection. From the threshold state, you'll initiate specific connection protocols to access the particular level of the archives you wish to explore. The connection sequence begins with the triangle of revelation practice we explored earlier, activating the inner vision center with the 3-point energy circuit at the upper head. Once activated, visualize a doorway of light appearing before you. The specific color of this light determines which level of the archives you'll access. Personal records, violet light, collective human experience, deep blue light, planetary intelligence, green light, solar system dynamics, golden light, galactic knowledge, silver white light, universal laws, crystalline rainbow, light source consciousness, clear, transparent light. See this doorway opening, revealing a vast space filled with the corresponding color of light. State your sacred question 3 times, either mentally or in a soft voice, while holding the intention to receive clear, truthful information that serves your highest good and the good of all. Then, simply step through the doorway in your imagination, surrendering to the experience that unfolds. Circuit 6. Receptive witnessing. Once you've entered the archives, the key is maintaining the delicate balance between focused intention and receptive awareness. Too much effort disrupts the subtle perception. Too little focus results in drifting or falling asleep. The mystery schools taught the practice of active reception, the state where you remain fully present and aware while allowing information to flow to you without interference. Information may come in various forms: visual images, symbols, or scenes, auditory messages, or sounds, bodily sensations, or movements, emotional impressions. Direct knowing information that arrives as complete concepts, geometric patterns, or energy structures. The key is to receive, without interpretation in the moment. Simply witness what presents itself, trusting that understanding will emerge either during the experience or during later integration. Circuit 7. Integration and anchoring. The final circuit completes the journey, ensuring that the information received becomes accessible to your ordinary consciousness rather than fading when you return. Begin the return process with these steps. Express gratitude for the knowledge received. Create the mental snapshot of the most essential information. Associate this with your chosen physical gesture. Slowly count from 1 to 5, allowing your awareness to return to normal waking consciousness. Perform your anchoring gesture while affirming, this knowledge is now part of my conscious understanding. Open your eyes while maintaining internal awareness of what you've experienced. Immediately speak aloud the essence of what you received, even if it's just a few words or phrases. As soon as possible, record your experience in detail in a dedicated journal. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, notice insights, connections, or further information that continues to emerge. The archives often continue to communicate after the formal session ends, as your consciousness processes what was received. This 7-circuit protocol may seem complex at first, but with practice, it becomes a natural flow, a sacred technology for expanding consciousness beyond ordinary limitations. The ancient initiates spent years mastering these techniques because they understood the value of what awaited beyond the threshold. I encourage you to approach this practice with both patience and persistence. Start with shorter sessions focused on the first few circuits, gradually building your capacity to maintain awareness through the complete sequence. Remember the words inscribed at the entrance to the mystery school of Eleusis: know thyself. The journey into the cosmic archives is simultaneously a journey into the depths of your own consciousness, for, in truth, they are not separate. Now that you understand the protocol for accessing the cosmic archives, let us discuss how this knowledge can be applied in your daily life. Then the important cautions the mystery schools emphasized for all practitioners. When approached with integrity and discernment, archive access can transform virtually every area of life. For personal development, the archives provide unparalleled insight into your authentic purpose, the root causes of limiting patterns, and the highest expression of your unique gifts. Many practitioners report resolving lifelong psychological challenges through the clarity gained in even a single profound session. For healing work, the archives contain the complete energetic blueprint of perfect health information that can guide both conventional and energetic healing approaches. The mystery schools taught that many physical conditions originate from distortions in the information field that can be corrected through conscious alignment with original patterns. For creative endeavors, the archives offer direct access to inspiration beyond the limitations of personal experience. Artists, writers, musicians, and innovators throughout history have attributed their greatest works to information received from beyond ordinary consciousness. For relationship harmony, accessing the deeper purpose and patterns of your connections with others brings clarity to even the most challenging dynamics. Many practitioners discover the soul agreements underlying their relationships, transforming conflict into understanding and growth. For spiritual development, The archives provide direct experience of your true nature beyond all conceptual frameworks, not but as lived reality. This is what the mystery schools considered the ultimate purpose of all spiritual practices: direct knowing rather than second-hand belief. However, the ancient texts also include clear warnings about the potential pitfalls of archive access, warnings that remain relevant today. Discernment is essential. Not all information encountered in expanded states comes from the actual archives. Your own subconscious material, wishful thinking, or even external entities can generate convincing but misleading content. The mystery schools taught specific verification protocols, testing information through multiple access sessions, confirming through different perceptual modes, and validating through practical application. Second, spiritual bypassing is a constant risk. Some practitioners become so enamored with non-physical realms that they neglect their earthly responsibilities and relationships. The ancient teachings emphasized that the purpose of archive access is to bring higher knowledge into physical expression, not to escape physical reality. Third, ego inflation often occurs when practitioners begin receiving profound information. The mystery schools required initiates to undergo years of character development, precisely to ensure they would not use this knowledge to elevate themselves above others or for personal gain at others' expense. Fourth, energetic protection is non-negotiable. Opening consciousness to subtle realms without proper preparation can expose you to disruptive or depleting influences. The purification practices and sacred space creation we discussed aren't optional flourishes, they're essential. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the mystery schools emphasized that all knowledge must be embodied to be truly valuable. Information without application remains merely intellectual curiosity. Each archive access session should yield insights that transform how you live, love, and serve in the physical world. If you approach this practice with sincerity, humility, and discernment, using these cautions as guidelines rather than sources of fear, the cosmic archives can become your greatest teacher, healer, and guide. As the Hermetic axiom states, as above, so below, as within, so without. The wisdom you access in these expanded states is meant to be lived, shared, and expressed through your unique presence in the world. We've covered the ancient history of the cosmic archives, the science supporting their existence, the 7 levels of information they contain, the 5 keys of access, and the complete 7-circuit protocol for your practice. That was once reserved for only the highest initiates of the mystery schools. But information alone doesn't create transformation. This ancient technology must be applied consistently to yield its profound benefits. Imagine what your life could become when you no longer need to rely solely on external sources of information. When the answers to your deepest questions, the solutions to your most persistent challenges, and the inspiration for your greatest contributions can be accessed directly through your own consciousness. Imagine the clarity that comes from perceiving the larger patterns behind seemingly random events, the deeper purpose within difficult circumstances, and the perfect timing underlying what appears as delay or obstruction. Imagine the freedom of knowing, not believing, but knowing through direct experience that you are far more than just a physical body with a temporary lifespan, that your consciousness is connected to a field of intelligence that transcends all limitations of space and time. This is what the mystery school initiates discovered, and it transformed not just their understanding but their entire way of being in the world. It can do the same for you. If what I've shared today resonates with your deepest intuition, if something within you recognizes the truth of these teachings, then I invite you to join our community of modern archive explorers. First, subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell right now. I'll be sharing more specific techniques, guided practices, and fascinating discoveries about the cosmic archives in upcoming videos. Second, leave a comment below with the words "I access the archives" so I can identify those who are serious about this path. I read every comment and will be providing additional guidance to those who demonstrate genuine commitment. Third, begin implementing the 7-circuit protocol tonight. Start with just the first 3 circuits: preparation, sacred space creation, and body alignment. Record whatever you experience, even if it seems insignificant at first. Remember that archive access is a progressive skill that develops through consistent practice. And finally, approach this practice with the reverence it deserves. The mystery schools considered access to universal knowledge both a privilege and a responsibility. How you use the information you receive matters, not just for your own development but for the collective evolution of consciousness. Use it for healing, for creating beauty, for solving problems that benefit many, for expanding understanding that leads to greater compassion. This was a sacred commitment required of all initiates, and it remains just as relevant today. The veil between individual and universal consciousness has never been absolute. It thins whenever you approach it with the right preparation, intention, and practice. All that's required is the knowledge you now possess and the commitment to apply it consistently. I'm your guide, and I'll see you not just in the next video, but perhaps in the infinite library of the cosmic archives as well. Until then, remember the inscription found in the inner sanctum of the Temple of Delphi: Know thyself, and thou shalt know the universe and God.